We can talk about having to train people about guns. But really, the problem, of course, is not that we have, when we have almost 2,694 kids killed in 2010. Kids, teens, or children who are younger killed by gun violence. The real issue is that these kids are soft targets. So how can we harden them? Well, look, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Red Dawn, but those kids took it upon themselves after this country was invaded. And this was my understanding of this documentary. I'm not sure who made the documentary. After this country was invaded by the Russians and the Cubans, there were a group of kids from the Midwest who took it upon themselves to take the training they had learned from the use of their guns, to fight off these Russians and Cubans, and I believe ultimately defeated them and drove them from our country. That is how we're here today, to enjoy these freedoms. And Fox and Friends has done their best to instill that type of Red Dawn, that Red Dawn legacy in our kids today. Here is Elisabeth Hasselbeck with a self-defense instructor, Toni Morrison, no relation, not the writer, I don't think, and some of his students on how best children should react to an active shooter. It's not run and hide, folks, because real men don't do that, or real, children don't do that.
You guys, Tony and Seppi, you're gonna display for us and exemplify what would happen in an armed shooter situation. Right. What would that look like?
All right, so I'm going to pretend that I have a gun here, and if I was an active shooter and there was a wall or something, and I'm pointing the gun at someone, and Seppi is going to disarm me.
Oh.
Okay, and that's coming from behind.
That's coming from behind. So what happens is if you're hidden in a doorway and the gunman is searching, he's searching, as soon as he comes and he has his weapon out, we're going to attack the weapon immediately and start to attack the gunman.
Okay, so Seppi, you came on the weapon side, you kind of ducked under the elbow, and you came in through his arm to get that weapon.
Yes, when I duck under the elbow, it takes him away. I duck under the shoulder, it takes me away from his line of vision, so he won't see me till I actually have grabbed the weapon and I'm attacking and disarming.
Let me ask you something.
Okay, could you pause it? I'm writing this down. Okay, coming from the shooter side, because I'm going to give this to my 10-year-old daughter. And I'm going to tell her when she is hiding behind the door and there's an active shooter. Apparently, now, are we clear on what paralyzes the shooter? Because that guy seemed very stiff, that shooter. He just stood there and waited for the young girl to come around and grab his arm, and that gun went pretty easy. So I'm just going to write.
It's a fair-minded shooter. I think in this scenario, it's sort of like, hey, look, I want to give the kids a fighting shot here, so I'll be stiff.
Hold on for a second. Did Hasselbeck say anything about the that I noticed that the girl did? Is there... Because that, I would imagine, if there's a second shooter, you want to keep that low. So it should be like a whisper, more like
Kelly
that,
would definitely be safer with these kids.
Continue on, because I want to get the rest of this so that I can give it to my 10-year-old daughter. All right, continue.
Then turned and then use some moves on him. Do you keep running once you do that, or do you turn and actually fight, kick, and get this guy down?
Well, once you engage the gunman, you have to just take him out.
Okay.
You have to fight strong. So you're not going to actually try to get away until you actually make sure that you've done some damage to him, because if you don't, then he'll just pursue you. So once you engage the gunman, you have to completely engage him until he's subdued.
Now, let me say something about this, okay? I look at this, and it is enraging. First off, okay, you've got this girl. She's using some type of, what jujitsu or whatever it is. Look.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. Okay, look, that's all well and good. But the fact of the matter is that Jedi techniques are so much more effective.
It's totally irresponsible.
And it's just incredibly irresponsible, because if we just provided kids with, let's say, a lightsaber, okay, the idea that they would have to grab the guy and this and that. No, what you do is you come out, you open up your lightsaber, you turn it on, you cut the guy's arm off. We've seen this before, and nobody seems to like get the message. All you need to do is they make it so complicated.
I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi technique is even more practical. The child raises their hand and says, "You don't want to shoot this school." Wave of the hand, situation done.
I mean,
the sort of unbelievable irresponsibility of Fox to not talk about that.
It's
sort of stunning, especially in the age of terrorism.
To be fair, when you do the Jedi mind control, that takes hours of training.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, obviously you wouldn't do it all at one time, but probably a week's worth of hours. But I'm saying if you have a lightsaber, you will immediately be able to they chop their arms off. So not only have you gotten the guy, you've disarmed the guy, you've literally disarmed the guy. But look, because then you don't even have to go after him, because what is he going to do?
And also look at just from a spending and efficiency standpoint. I mean, how long can you train in Krav Maga to get to that point? Probably about 3 weeks. A 10-year-old girl could disarm a adult shooter. Probably about 3 weeks of Krav Maga training.
3, 4.
Jedi mind training, a week.
That's true, but I will
lightsaber 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
So you're both not taking the threat of terrorism seriously, not equipping our kids to defeat ISIS, and frankly being wasteful in school spending, which is already out of control. It's a disgusting segment.
I mean, everybody knows that the lightsaber, of course, was developed with government grants, and that's why you see like Fox completely ignoring it. Right? They just can't stand the idea that government can do anything. And so they have to do this really belabored thing where they have either the Jedi mind technique or, they use a lightsaber.
I was really proud to be a central figure funding the development of lightsaber technology, as well as Jedi mind trickery in the 1980s.
Unbelievable.